Hi, I'm Joker. This channel is about the history and culture of Japan. I would be happy if you could understand a little bit about Japan by watching this video. If you have a topic that interests you even a little bit about Japanese culture or history, please leave it in the comments section. Getting comments from everyone will be the driving force behind the creation of the video. Today's topic is a special edition of the Tokyo Olympics, featuring the Japanese national team that will compete in the Tokyo Olympics. Do you like sports? I've been watching the NBA since I was 14 years old and am a big fan of the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm also a fan of Arsenal in the Premier League, Roma in Serie A, and Real Madrid in La Liga. Sports is like watching a Christopher Nolan movie, where you can't read the ending until the very end. The Japanese team for the Tokyo Olympics has two of the strongest teams in history. They are basketball and football. The basketball team is aiming to win its first medal, and the football team is aiming to win its first in about 50 years. In this video, we will feature the two strongest Japanese teams in history, basketball and football. So, let's start Japan history travel. Before we get into the introduction of the Japanese national team, let's take a look back at the recent history of the Japanese national football team. 3 years ago, before the start of the 2018 World Cup in Russia, Japan's national team was criticized for its lack of generational change and for being too old. This is because many of the mainstay members of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, the most anticipated in Japan's history, were called up. Another reason for the criticism was the dismissal of coach Halo Hodzic even 2 months before the World Cup finals. The result of the World Cup in Russia was the first time in 2 tournaments that Japan had made it to the last 16, and although it was able to bring excitement, there were still a lot of problems with the national team. After the World Cup, he hired a Japanese coach, Moriyasu, with the goal of integrating young and experienced players, and actively recruited young players. Among the players who have come to prominence are Minamino, who also played for Liverpool, and Duan, who has been selected for the U24 national team. While we have been looking back at the recent history of the Japanese national team, the next chapter will introduce the members of the U24 Japan team. We will introduce the football team, which is called the strongest in history. The U24 football team will consist of 22 players under the age of 24 and 3 overage quota players. Here is the projected best 11 for the Japanese national team. The side backs are Hata, currently undefeated in 21 games in the J-League, Japan's football league, for Kawasaki Frontale, and the legendary Nagato, who has participated in 3 consecutive Olympics. The center back is a versatile player who plays center back, defensive midfielder, and side back in Serie A, the land of Catenaccio. He is the captain of Southampton Football Club in England, where he played for 8 years. The 2 defensive midfielders are Tanaka, who plays for Kawasaki Frontale, and Endo, who is the Bundesliga's all-time leader in duels won. The 3 offensive midfielders are Nagaya Grampus speedster Suma Kubo, one of the best players in Japan's history who grew up in La Masia and now plays for Real Madrid, and Duan, the next generation ace who will carry Japan's number 10. The biggest advantage of Japan's national team is its thickly layered midfield. Miyoshi, who scored 2 goals against Uruguay in the Copa America, is on the bench and can create a variety of attacks. One of the most intriguing midfield pairings is that of Kubo and Duan. With Kubo's quality dribbling up the left flank and Duan's determination, they will take the world by storm. On the 17th of this month, they fought hard to a draw against the Spanish national team, the favorite to win the championship, led by Pedri, one of the best young players of our time. It will be interesting to see if the strongest team in history can rewrite history. Today's Japanese manga. It's time for today's Japanese manga. Today's Japanese manga is Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is a dark fantasy manga that depicts the battle between humans living in a country surrounded by walls and the giants that exist outside those walls. In addition to the cool characters and impressive battle scenes, it is also a very interesting work that depicts the antithesis of discrimination and unfair systems that still exist in many countries around the world. Attack on Titan has also been made into a movie and an anime. The battle scenes in the anime are especially powerful and I recommend it. I recommend this book to anyone who wants to inspire themselves and think about the preciousness of life. What is your favorite manga? If you're at all interested in this book, please buy it. Next, we will focus on Japan's national basketball team. Japan's national basketball team has been struggling with the gap between them and the rest of the world for years. There are many reasons for this, including physical problems and a lack of updated tactics. The biggest problem was the fact that there are 2 basketball leagues in Japan. The lack of a unified league made it difficult for the Japanese basketball world to become a cohesive organization and win international tournaments. The B-League, inaugurated in April 2015, overcame this situation. Under the leadership of Kawabata, who created the J-League, Japan's soccer league, the B-League united the country's basketball leagues and launched a massive marketing campaign. In June 2019, Togashi became the B-League's first 100 million yen player. It is exceptionally fast to have a 100 million yen player just 4 years after its inception. In the same year, 2019, Hachimura was selected in the NBA draft for the first time in Japanese history, and in 2021, Watanabe signed with the Toronto Raptors. As you can see, in recent years, the Japanese basketball team has become sufficiently competitive with a combination of achievements. Now, let me introduce the members of this year's Japanese national team. The point guard is Tanaka, who has won the MVP award in the B-League. He is known Known for his cool and calm game control, the shooting guard is Baba, who helped Japan win the Australian League Championship. He has a tight defense and three-point shot. The small forward is Watanabe, a member of the Toronto Raptors. Despite his height, he has the ability to break out of situations with his flexible handling and accurate three-point shooting. The power forward is Hachimura, an ace from the Washington Wizards. His strengths are his accurate mid-range shot and physicality. The center is Edwards Gavin, who belongs to the Chiba Jets, last year's B-League champion team. His strong physicality and running ability are his strengths. The team also has shooters Hajima and Harimoto, defensive player Bendolami, speedster Togashi, and many other unique members. Their first Olympic game will be against the mighty Spain, followed by Slovenia, led by Doncic, one of the best young players in the NBA, and Argentina in a very tough group. After their historic victory over France on March 18, it will be interesting to see how far Japan can go in the Olympics. That's it for this edition of Japan History Travel. I hope this video will give you an idea of what kind of team Japan is for the Tokyo Olympics. I hope to send you a special version of the Tokyo Olympics next time. If you found this video interesting, please give it a high rating and subscribe to our channel. I hope you enjoy it. See you again.